Following program has been rated GE by the Kenya Film Classification Board. It is therefore suitable for general family viewing.
Hello viewer, it's such a pleasure to have you with us on Chungu cha Jamii. My name is Anne Moremi and I'm your host. Today is a great day and with me in studio I have a guest who's very distinguished and I want her to introduce herself and then after I'll come and see what the topic of today is. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Reverend Mrs. Florence Mudanya, and I have been in the teaching force for many years. I've worked at the level of a class teacher, head of department, worked as a principal, and I have also worked in private sector, worked in an international school and private schools, and right now the school where I am, I'm a chaplain and a counselor. That's Marion Schools.
Wow, welcome to the show. What a great pleasure to have you with us.
Yes.
You've been in the teaching fraternity. It's like you've been through all the levels.
Yes.
And you know, that means that our guest today is well versed in matters education. So today we're going to be looking at the education sector and trying to see what trends have developed since COVID came. So what challenges there are, and basically to also just have a wrap and see what are the challenges that have come up because of COVID. So it's so good to have you here with us.
Thank you very much.
You know, you've been in the teaching fraternity for so long.
Yes.
So you know how it was before COVID?
Yes.
And now we've been with COVID now, I think for 2 years.
Yes.
So, and it looks like we're going to be in this situation or this new normal for quite a while.
Yes.
So let me first ask by saying, which time do you prefer, pre-COVID or post-COVID?
Pre-COVID.
Pre-COVID, I know. It's still the early stages of COVID, so we still miss the good old days, but we're learning to cope.
When we would hug and socialize.
Oh, especially hugging in schools.
Yes.
You know, children love that environment of contact, a lot of contact, but that has really been denied by the situation, the protocols that we have to follow.
Yes.
And already you see, we're already talking about the challenges. So that's one of the ones that you've seen, the lack of physical contact.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that and how it has impacted teaching.
Yes. So actually, we have to observe the COVID rules, and the goodness is the learners. We have taken them through, they now understand, and even the importance and the explanation behind those very rules.
Yes.
So the really COVID-19 rules compliant.
Yes.
Of course, they miss the hugging, those physical contacts. The other things they miss are those activities, the co-curricular activities, the drama festivals, music festivals, and inter-school football and athletics competitions. And all those ones have been put on hold.
Yes.
And those ones used to bring a lot of interaction and a lot of physical activities.
Yes.
And you know what? Because of, again, the elongated time of these very young people at home, and now that we made them to get on to online learning.
Yes.
Online learning, where they're now using the phone and the laptop. They did a lot of sitting and eating nicely. So many of them are developing obesity. Many of them have grown fat.
It's called COVID weight. Yeah? COVID weight. You know, it has also affected adults as well as children.
Yes.
Actually, staying at home, you find yourself like after every few minutes, you've gone to the kitchen.
Yes.
You're not even hungry, but you've picked a banana, you've picked a fruit, you've picked some food, you're still hungry, So you find that people have actually added a bit of weight. And it's interesting that you mentioned that because, even children, they've become more chubby.
Yes.
Yes. And then, now, you've mentioned that even when they come to school, there are not too many extracurricular activities.
Yes.
So that means that even the football they would play, the basketball, the squash, the swimming, the tennis, that is reduced.
Completely.
So in a way, that has really affected children, because one of the things I remember about my school is that I really used to look forward to break time, lunch time, and 4 o'clock. Why? Because I'd run to the field and play. So how is it happening now? What is happening to keep the children active? Maybe PE, is PE happening?
Yeah, PE, you can be able to arrange them in the field so that there is that social distance, and also physical education is part of our CBC curriculum.
Exactly. So at least that one is still there. They're able to still exercise a bit and do something outdoors.
Yes.
Not have to be in class all day.
Yes.
So how have the children responded to that? The lack of extracurricular activities? Or they reduce it's not lack, because there's still a bit of it, like in PE, but it's very minimal.
Very, very minimal.
Yes.
And that into the excitement of the competitions, music festivals, drama, which goes with the dancing, it was very exciting.
Yes.
So they actually miss that. And even those sports competition, actually, so there's very little they get in during the PE lesson, but all the same, because the PE lesson is not, doesn't have to be every day.
Yes. It doesn't have, maybe once or twice a week, so that they can be outdoors.
Yes.
Okay. So it's good to know that those have been some of the challenges. But let's talk also about the positive things, the gains.
The gains.
Yeah. What are some of the positive things that have come up because of COVID in the education sector?
As some of the positive things, this wearing the mask, we realized that it reduced on some of these common illnesses, and those even who have asthmatic attacks now don't really experience them the way it was earlier, these common colds, these headaches. So now has minimized those doctor's appointments, then the washing of the hands, the hygiene has reduced on those sicknesses to do with the diarrhea, typhoid. So actually the learners are healthy because of observing those rules, and it has minimized on that absenteeism for those ones who have come to school.
Oh, yes.
Of course, let us know that the very COVID affected them negatively because of the school dropouts.
Yes.
We have, that immorality, that we have had many teenage pregnancies.
Correct.
And early marriages that has brought a lot of dropouts.
Yes.
But the ones who are in school now, those issues of absenteeism are really reduced because the hygienic, the part that has come in, and the mask, we realize that they're good.
Actually, those things have been very, very good, because even when I talk to some of our friends who are doctors, pediatricians, they actually say that they have seen a reduction in the number of children visiting them.
Yes.
Of course, that is bad for them in terms of business, but as a country, it is a very good thing, because children are healthier, less exposure to things like antibiotics and medications, which are good, but they also come with side effects.
Yes.
So actually, when you, it's good you raise that point, actually, because the washing hands and a lot of stomach things, a lot of typhoid, all those things have reduced.
It's not there. Yes.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Even the colds. I remember, like, for little children, immediately they start school, they would always be home because of coughing and running nose.
Like
mafua.
this cold season, we would have a lot of suffering from colds, but the mask has protected.
Because the mask also keeps you warm in a way. The air that you breathe is warmer.
Yes.
So that's a very big plus, because the time that would be lost because of being home, is no longer being lost.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. I'm happy to hear that those are some of the positive things. Unfortunately, one man's meat is another man's poison. So as much as we are celebrating, maybe the hospitals and the doctors, the nurses, they feel the reduced business. But overall, I think it's a good thing.
Even those who run those shops, pharmacies,
Yes.
they also their customers have reduced.
Okay, that's very good. So, all right, that's a plus. Let's talk a little bit about something you've mentioned, the dropout. Have you, in the schools that you've been dealing with, did you notice that some children did not come back? Or did that affect mostly public schools? Because for you, you're mostly in private.
Yes,
yeah.
It affected mostly public schools,
okay,
where we have had a lot of those dropouts, and these ones have also been associated with the poverty also, where there are those ones who had to go out because they need something from men. So
yes.
and those early marriages, because we had parents who feel they will also need to get something by
dowry.
giving out their girls.
Yes.
Yes. So but now these other ones, which is including private schools, are those young who would have organized morality. They have many teenagers have been caught somewhere in a group, having sexual activities, taking drugs. We were all getting them in the news. So that one now was cutting across.
Yes. Okay.
So those immoralities increased the drugs. No, even now there has been again a case in the news about young people who were caught drunk and they've been taken to court. But those behaviors, they developed them because of that elongated stay at home. They influenced each other negatively. Yes. And let's say because of the social media, Facebook, WhatsApp, they have even made WhatsApp groups where they influence each other very negatively.
Yes.
And also the internet sites, pornography, where they get to and they see those pornographic sites, which are also luring them into sexual activities, which has actually acted negatively. As much as that online learning has helped, but those are now the negative effects that of ICT. Online,
exactly, because
learning.
At least there are those ones in private schools mostly who are able to keep up with their work because of online learning. But I hear you that it was good in that sense, but it also opened up like opportunities and other avenues for things that you may not want your child to be exposed to.
Yeah, they would collaborate negatively because of now using the social media to collaborate and organize those activities together, like that.
And when these things are happening, number one, a lot of parents were still either working from home or still back in school.
Yes.
So the children, when they were not in school, they tended to be unsupervised for long periods of time.
Yes.
So I think that was a contributing factor. And then there you are, you have Wi-Fi, unlimited Wi-Fi, and you have your gadgets, So that was a challenge. And the thing with these things is that they tend to be of an addictive nature.
Yes.
So when the children have come back to school and they're no longer now doing online learning, they're doing physical, are you seeing any withdrawal effects? How is the concentration of the children? Has their concentration span reduced, or is it the same? Do they still want to keep carrying their gadgets to school?
So let me just say that in the school we have rules.
Yes.
And because of being in school, following those rules, they have now to do what the timetable and the school rules dictate.
Yes.
And of course, me being a counselor, I have followed on those cases where if there is one who drops in performance, and also we are able to find out those who got engaged in other areas, and you are able now to bring to talk to them in a manner to bring them on track. So teachers have tried their best talking to these children to bring them on track to continue. So right now they're actually on track.
Okay.
And of course, those other where they still got affected, we have discipline cases, where they indulged so much until it is still affecting them, like the case I'm quoting of boys who are found drunk in school. There are those ones. They started behavior which has now affected them. And of course, there are those who would waste a bit of time talking like that, but I think because of we have rules, and the Minister of Education had to adjust the school calendar. So that we do not lose a whole year.
In fact, very short holidays.
To
try and recover.
4 terms in a year. Like this year we have 4 terms. Next year we have 4 terms. And even the very next year, the national exams will be done 2 times, in March and in November.
So how is that workload? How are the children bearing it? Are they managing?
That's why I'm saying there is compressed syllabus coverage. So we feel this compressed syllabus coverage has affected the quality of education to some extent, because of you have to hurry, and there are some experiments, some practicals, which again you are not able to give that amount of time. And there is some also outdoor learning places where where they used to go to learn.
Field trips.
Yes, those trips, the educational trips, which have been reduced. So we feel the quality of education has been affected, but all the same, we are moving on to avoid, of course, losing that year. So let me say, overall, the quality of education, because of compressed syllabus coverage, has been affected.
It's been affected, slightly, because we are trying to catch up.
You are trying to catch up to prepare them for the national exams, which are there, like that.
Yes, that's true. And also, we have that very interesting situation of the class 4s and the form 1s. Those ones were even out later, longer.
Yes.
But you know what? The beauty of time is that time passes. And July came, and they went back to school.
They're back in school.
They're back in school, the class 5s. I'm sure they're so excited. And even the form 1s, they're excited to be in their new high schools.
Yes.
And
they're very happy.
I'm sure they're so happy, because you see, when everybody went back and they were left home, now again they felt a bit isolated. And that brings me to this question. As a counselor, are you noticing, are there children who are having some mental health challenges? Maybe they are feeling a bit low, or did coming back to school just raise their spirits completely?
Let me say that all the teachers in all these schools, they have tried to talk these children. Of course, there are those cases of mental health issues which we are handling, and now when the classroom teachers, where they find a case, they need to refer to the counselor. Those are now the ones that are referring to the heads of department, guidance and counseling, or those are the department the Minister of Education introduced in all schools. So we have Department of Guidance and Counseling, with the head of department, with the team of teacher counselors. So you find the ones that are now not able to handle, they now bring, and you are now able to follow up and help. And always you'll follow up and find there is a reason somewhere, and now when you deal with that reason, you find now you are able now to return this child
back on track.
Back on track.
Yeah.
The ones who are difficult, especially in those high schools, are those who have taken to drugs and they have they're addicted. So those ones you find now is
challenging.
It's challenging. It's challenging to need a longer a longer time.
yes.
So you find you have cases of indiscipline, all that. But you find at primary school level, those cases are reduced.
They are fewer. Yeah, they're fewer because also the children tend to be younger, so they are less exposed, and also they tend to obey more.
Yes, they're more obedient.
They're more obedient, they're less independent.
Yes.
You can still, as a parent, tell them, come with me, and they'll come with you.
Yes.
Do this, and they'll do. Don't do this, and they'll do. But as the children grow older, they go to high school,
Yes.
something happens, and even as they get into teenagehood,
Yes.
and they now become slightly independent, which is a good thing, because you want your children to be independent.
Yes.
But there are some who also rebel.
It's true.
Now you find you're calling your
also
child, they're not
rebel.
coming. You don't even know where they are, they have disappeared. And as a parent, it's very, very scary.
You know,
because
they
you
feel
wonder.
now they're grown-ups.
Yes.
Someone needs to listen to them. Someone needs to respect their own opinion. No, like that. That's why, according to the way the stages of growth, you say from 0 years to a certain time, it is training. And then from a certain time to another time, is consulting. No?
Yeah, consulting.
Yes,
Your mode
consult
of parenting
them.
has to change.
Yes.
You
yes.
can't just
Mode of-
continue
yes,
with the
you-
training
You
aspect.
cannot.
Yeah.
You
And
have to
that's,
consult.
and that's good to note that. In fact, I'm very happy, and I commend the Ministry of Education for coming up with that Department of Guidance and Counseling, where you fit in as a chaplain and as a counselor at the schools.
Yes.
Because for a long time, people have felt that children, they've neglected that aspect of counseling them, of reaching out to them, of getting them to open up and talk. Yet these children are going through very difficult and trying times as well. They have also been affected by COVID. A lot of marriages have also been affected by COVID. You see some separation, some divorce.
Yes.
And you see some of
The
these
affected
things also
children.
affect the children. So I'm so happy that you're in that role.
Yes.
And maybe you can tell us a little bit. You've talked about alcohol and drug abuse. You've talked about, or early getting into sexual activities, early marriage. What are there other things that are happening in the family that you're finding to be challenging that we parents need to be aware of and to address?
There are cases where a parent fights or quarrels with the other parent in the presence of the child, and that affects them so much, because you'll find that where parents are quarreling or having such issues, there is a way they want to win the children.
To them.
You'll find the mother wants to win children their side, so they'll go talking maybe negatively about the father, trying to go now to make them so, or there is a father want to win children. So again, a child finds that he's put in a state of confusion, that.
Yeah.
So there are these cases of the stresses the parents have gone through that ends up impacting negatively on the child. And when now they go to school, they are not able to concentrate on the learning because they're remembering what happened at home. It really affects them.
Yeah, it affects them a lot. And even when the parents are together, but there's a lot of conflict, a lot of gender-based violence. All those things tend to affect the children. And it's good to let the children know that at least there are people they can reach out to, so that they can be given the skills to maneuver those challenges. Because you see, you want the children, you don't want the children to go through that. But since they are, you want them to overcome those challenges. You don't want them to be defeated by those things. Yeah. So I'm really proud of the work that you're doing, and I pray that there's going to be more emphasis on children. Do children open up easily to you?
Children open up very easily. These young people, where they're not able to open up easily, there are those adolescents who have taken to drugs. They'll keep a lot of things very secret. But these young ones in the primary section, they are open, especially most of these issues they open up. But it's still good to know that the drugs are introduced even in schools to these young people. Yes. From a young age. You can find class 5, class 6 there that have been introduced to drugs. So those who introduce them to these drugs, they tell them to keep them a secret. Yes. So they start now to tell them how they need, you should not reveal it, they should not do that. But when it comes to family issues, they do not hide. They speak very openly. But when it comes to these other cases, they should reveal is when now you have to be tactfully get the information from them. Yes. And even try to show them that you not tell another person. It is between the two of you. You'll keep the secret. Yes. And you tell them, when you tell me, I want to help you. Yes. So you they end up open because they tend to trust you as a counselor. Yes. And they see that you will help them and you'll keep the secret together.
Wow. That's good, and I can say that you're able to tell the things that they're open about, the ones that they're not open about. And one of the things that also the ministry has tried to do, the Ministry of Education, is to make sure that around schools, there are not many kiosks. Yes. Because sometimes that's how the children get introduced. First, they're given a sweet today. Yes. Then tomorrow, they're given a sweet again. So a relationship is formed. And then now they start being introduced to illicit substances. So I like that approach of just trying to make sure that our schools, the environment around is safe. Yes. Yeah, so that's also something important. And it's because the government has realized that this is how we're losing our children. So they're trying to bring them back. So
and with the counselors, we have been trained. We are able to also see how to get them out of those drugs habits and bring them in the correct paths where they can now move on with the education. Yes. We are able to assist them in many ways by talking to their minds, talking to their hearts.
Yes, talking to their hearts. Yes, not just giving knowledge. Yes, making them also know about the issues of the heart, the issues of the mind.
Yes, and identifying with them in their issues, like that.
Like that, That's so good. Now, I want to take a little interesting approach. And, now you, as a teacher, this is a very interesting era because in the schools, we have children who are doing CBC, and we have others that are still doing 844 because they are like the ones who are going to be the last generation of 844. Yes. So now, even as a teacher, you've been able to be with CBC children for long. How are children adopting to CBC? And we know it's been implemented, so it can't be changed. But is it better than 844? Are you finding that the children are liking it more? Are the teachers also liking it more? What can you say about that?
CBC is an activity-oriented system. And let me say that the teachers like the system when they compared it to 844. They say 844 was more theoretical. This one is activity-based. And then also the learners, they also like it because of those activities. We were doing a grade 4 life skills lesson. So why I was comparing with the 844, because 844 maybe we would talk about maybe self-awareness life skills, self-esteem life skills, decision-making, critical thinking life skills, communication, all those. But this one now, to be practical, we would tell the child now, the life skill we are learning today is we are going to make a pancake. And we were doing it even online. And say, get into your kitchen and you see them in their kitchen.
Get the flour.
Online. Yes. Now get the flour, measure this, and you see that measuring. And now put a little oil on the pan and now put it this, turn it. So you see that it is really activity oriented. So in the process, they are able to cover more within a given lesson than when you are dwelling more on explanation. Here you are explaining as they do.
Yes.
Explaining as they do.
Yes.
And then I also realized that they have been taught something about preserving seeds, because you know, we were comparing a learner in 844 and a learner in CBC. We gave them fruits to eat, but the learner in 844 threw away the avocado seed after eating the avocado, but the one in CBC preserved the seed, because they have been told that seeds, you use them now to get other plants from them, so you do not throw them. So the two systems are quite different.
Yes.
Of course, that's why in the air you are hearing how teachers are going to be retrained like that. So personally, I like CBC.
Yeah, CBC, it seems to be good because you see also, as you're teaching,
popular.
It's popular. As you're teaching that child how to make pancakes,
yes,
they're being able to interact with even a dangerous thing, the fire,
yes,
but they're doing it in a good way, because
yes,
fire is good.
Yes,
because we use it for cooking and so many other good things.
Yes,
but it can also be dangerous.
Yes.
So you see, before we would not even want a child to come close into the kitchen to use a knife, but we're teaching them. You know, you have to take it, you have to cut,
yes,
you have to peel things. And so I think that those are life skills. And you see, they're going to always use that.
Yes.
Because you're never going to be, whenever you can't be hungry, you know, in the kitchen, you'll be able to make some things.
So the other good thing I have seen about CBC is that when you have maybe food somewhere, self-service like that, as a CBC child will take the food, eat, and will clean the table without you having to tell them the lead. So they are responsible, in other words. They are more responsible than in the 844.
Yeah.
The system is such that it's making them more responsible.
Correct. Yeah. That's a very, very good result, because ultimately that's what we want. We want to raise citizens who are responsible of themselves, their environment, and who can even care. Because when you're keeping a seed to preserve it, it means in your mind you're thinking that you want to plant trees, which are so good for the environment. So I think that already those are the signs that we're beginning to see that are very positive.
Yes.
So viewer, we need to take a short break. Please keep it here. We'll be right back. Thank you.
This is our world, our country, our community, and our society. It's all happening at Chungu Jamii. In this place, we talk about parenting, we talk about marriage, we talk about relationships, we talk about dating. We go to the prisons and find out how life is over there. We talk about the village, you know, what happens down there in our slums. What exactly is happening back in our schools? What is happening with the people that we know as our husbands and our brothers? What is happening with addiction also in our society? We offer solutions. We bring in experts, we bring in psychologists to tell us more on how to handle our problems. Come, let us share together. Let's get round the pot, have some soup, and talk about the issues in our community.
Everywhere, GBS.
Welcome back, viewer. Today we're talking about education sector and how it has changed because of COVID. And with me in studio is somebody who is so well trained and has been in the education sector for a very long time, risen through the ranks. She's been a class teacher, she's been a head of a department, she's been a principal, and now she's a chaplain, and she offers counseling and heads the counseling departments. So I'm so happy to see that you have risen through. And one of the things that I want to ask is, when you look at the children of nowadays, are we developing them well for the future in terms of the careers that will come up? Because the world is changing so fast in terms of technology. And are we still stuck on teaching our children the old way, or are we trying to change to prepare them for the future?
Let me just say there was an NGO that took statistics of the job seekers, and they found there were more than 4 million job seekers. And when they did more research, they found that we teachers in the classroom, we used to teach them to be employed.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
We used to teach them for white-collar jobs.
Yes.
So from there, we started to sensitize each other. We need to make these young people to be entrepreneurial in their thinking, such that when they go out there, they can do some entrepreneurship. They come up with their own businesses. So we started to get to attach that to our lessons. We introduced clubs, even entrepreneurship clubs.
Yes.
I remember that I had a club we used to call I Choose Life. We held a business plan competition, where they were writing business plans, and you see the best that comes up, and you award the best.
Wow.
And in the process, what interested me is that there was one of the schools that came up with a business plan of insurance in their school, where every line is supposed to be giving a shilling, and they said the insurance that if one loses a pen, they'll buy for them a pen. So
that's good.
I mean,
they copied the insurance model.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you saw this. We were making our learners to develop, to be more innovative and more creative. That when they go outside, they can have business ideas. So now we removed this idea of preparing them for employment. Now know that they can go and start business and be employers. So right now we have very many young people who are having now business ideas and doing that. So we started to change like that, even within the 844 system. And now with the CBC, they're now even more practical.
Yes. That's a very good approach, because you have to change with the times. And sometimes in education, we tend to be behind in terms of we are catching up instead of being at the forefront in terms of innovation. But such a change is very good. And it's a mindset change. Let the children know that they're being prepared to be entrepreneurs. They are being prepared to offer solutions to the world, not to sit and expect to already go into something that is already working. You can start a new thing. And one of the things that happened during COVID is that we saw a lot of young people rising in the social media, people cracking jokes, entertaining people with short, small videos. And you can think that is not even a big deal, but some of those people have gone on to become like brand ambassadors, and they're being paid a lot of money by those companies, because right now social media is the big thing. So that is because in their minds they've been able to see that they can offer a solution, even if it's entertainment. And they can use what they have, which is their gadget, And, I like that. I like that you're actually teaching that, because otherwise, if we continue to teach our children that they should be employed, we are only going to make the unemployment rate to increase. But we can teach them to go out there and do something. Be the employers.
That's what we have.
That's what we are teaching them now. And also we can teach them to think beyond, outside the box.
That's what we are doing.
It's not just the usual teacher, doctor, lawyer. We have to teach them that there's more.
We have to teach them. I know I have my son who is a civil engineer, and he registered a company. He called this company Karabati. He said that he wants people to see that his company is for renovation, so that it's not competing with those big contractors.
Yeah.
So that they will see that it's someone who has now come up with a company just specializing on renovations.
Yeah,
and
repairs.
is really getting contracts because of that. Karabat means renovation.
Yeah.
So the young people are coming up like that.
And you
New
know,
ideas.
even just that name, Karabati, you know, it's African.
Yes.
It makes you feel that this is one of us, you know.
Yes.
And I want us to talk a little bit about language. For a very long time, we've been really teaching more of English to our children. Of course, I know we teach Kiswahili, but what can you say about the language, development of language in our children, in even mother tongue? Is there a gap there that we can feel?
Yes, I can make a comment on that, although my subjects are math, chemistry.
Wow, scientist. That's good. Okay.
But because of being in the line of chaplaincy,
Yes.
I actually started the work of chaplaincy from way 1997. Been doing chaplaincy. That's why I ended up heading guidance and counseling department even when I was in the public school.
Yes.
Because I did those courses in the line of guidance and counseling. So I'm saying that although I was a maths chemistry teacher,
Yes.
but I did those courses in that line. That's why I'm a qualified counselor and school chaplain.
Okay.
So let me just talk about the language. Of course, Kiswahili is our national language.
Yes.
And English is an international language.
Yes.
So all subjects are being taught in English because of English being an international language.
Yes.
So we have Kiswahili, which is a lot of the time done when we have the Kiswahili lesson.
Correct.
And when these now young people are outside there, of course in school we can insist on rules, but you'll find that the Sheng language, where they're mixing a bit of Kiswahili and bringing in some English word somewhere. So that Sheng has affected the languages they're doing, but of course the language teachers are really working hard to see that they're doing the right Kiswahili and the right English, encouraging them to read storybooks, the debating competitions. You know, the debating club, they have those competitions even up to inter-school level.
Yeah, and that really makes the children to be confident because you have to stand up and defend your point.
Yes.
I remember we used to do debates and I used to love debating. That was really, it was really one of the co-curricular, extracurricular activities that I really enjoyed. So before we wrap up, because time is not on our side, one of the things you mentioned that I thought I really have to ask you about is that you have taught outside of Kenya. You were a teacher in Dubai. Tell us a little bit about your experience there and what you learned there that is different, that we can either emulate, or what you found there that we are better at here.
So one thing I saw there, you know, being a maths teacher, I looked at their mathematics textbooks.
Yes.
And you see that our textbooks, our math textbooks, they start somewhere without having the historical background. Like those ones, when it's about Pythagoras theorem, they bring in the man Pythagoras. They even give his historical background, how he came up with that very theory. So it gives a very good backing to that very topic. So that's how I saw their textbook, mathematics textbooks. I saw how they are slightly better than ours. And also we math teachers here in Kenya, you just again start with a topic or a theory hanging somewhere. You do not go into the historical background, which gives a proper backing, because all these mathematical concepts and the theories, they were developed by some men, some women, somewhere. So when you go to the history and why they came up with it, it links very well with the other theoretical part when they now come in, so they get that very concept nicely. That was my observation. And then I observed that these young people, the learning is the same. They're all struggling to learn and get this the knowledge and to develop global thinking, like that. So there I was dealing with the young people from all over the world. And I remember there was a girl who had come from Australia, and the parents had just moved to the very Dubai. And in Australia, they do not have exam system. They have a different system. So where they came now in the international school, no, you know that one now is the Oxford curriculum, the Cambridge. So they used to have those very examination fever. So I saw that, so we can have, there are some other countries where they do not have this, no, I was learning now from them. So those are the ones I was given to see how to prepare them to not to fear exams.
Not to fear exams,
So in the, in the process of my teaching career, I had learned that it's good to sometime mark the book in the presence of the child, the way you would mark maths, because you would find that when a child gets a tick, you give a tick and it's just quiet, you know this one is a genius, so you have not challenged them with the question they were expecting it. But when you give a tick and there is one very excited, happy, so you find this one is a struggler, and
they're happy to. They don't take the tick for granted.
They cannot take the tick for granted.
Like, thank God for that tick.
and the one where if you put a cross that markers for, and it's just quiet, this one is a weak student.
They are so disappointed.
Was still expecting not to get it. But one where you put a tick, see, it's regretting, regretting, that this one you can is one now you can be able to assist to a certain level, because it means they are careless. They make careless mistakes like those. So I decided to employ those, but from the way they would be doing my assignments, and I tried to. They were able now to develop the confidence of facing exams, and they were able to do well, So that's how I came across children from different backgrounds. And of course their national language is Kiarabu.
Which was a challenge for you, of course. But I'm sure they were speaking English.
Of course, English being an international language.
At least you could be able to understand each other.
English is an international language like that. So that's it was a good experience.
I think so. I think it was a great experience.
And of course, my subjects, math, chemistry, are international subjects. So that's why you'd find it the same science here, it the same mathematics there. But you see the way now they are doing it. And in fact, even they are also the way textbooks are, they're quite simplified.
To make it easier for the children.
They're quite simplified.
And in my head I'm thinking, you're the person that I hope that you are planning to join the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development. I hope that is in your future plans.
I have shared,
because that's how
I have been a trainer of science maths teachers. Have you heard of this body we call SEMASE, strengthening of science and maths education.
I've not heard of it. Is it under KICD?
It is at the Ministry of Education has it.
Okay.
And from there, because we have to strengthen the teaching of maths and sciences and improve maths and sciences in Kenya, in the process I was taken in as a trainer of science maths teachers, right from the year 2 or 4.
Okay.
So I have shared these ideas properly. Yes.
That's good, because you're able to now influence and make a difference in our education sector. And I like that you have already done that. I was thinking this is something that you should do, but you have already actually done it, Wow.
And I still share it out whenever there are forums for you to share out. Whether there is what we call ourselves Teachers for Peace. So Teachers for Peace Consultants is an organization where I'm a director.
Teachers for Peace. And allow me to interrupt you a
So
little.
this Teachers for Peace, I'm saying that we share a lot of ideas and we organize some functions when we are celebrating Teachers International Day. So again, we share these ideas.
Yes, you share ideas. Yeah.
So I say that I still have forum with teachers where we share ideas.
That's great. And before we wrap up, I want you to tell us a little bit about bullying. Has bullying become more now than it was in the past? Or are parents too sensitive to bullying? What is your take on bullying?
The Minister of Education has worked and dealt with the issue of bullying so much that it has reduced.
A lot.
It has reduced a lot. But there are some public schools where you hear is a bit of it.
Yes.
But the Minister of Education came in very, very strongly that if you are found, action is taken against you.
Yeah.
So that kind of fear is there with those ones who would do it.
Yeah.
So bullying has reduced, and in most schools is actually not there.
Yeah, that's good. I'm happy to hear that.
You welcome the Form 1s well, and you need to be responsible to show them what happens here and there. And of course, in public schools, because I have been there, we still have those unruly,
of course,
unruly ones who get out of the way and do a wrong thing for them, but action is always taken against them.
Yeah, it's taken very seriously.
So I'm saying the way there are young people who break rules, we still have those ones who will do. And of course, we also have some bad ones who have gotten into drugs, what they also want to teach others.
Yes.
So we are always on the lookout as teachers.
Yes.
we are always on the lookout as administrators. No?
Yes, that's true.
For that, because we want to protect the innocent, and these ones who are unruly, we want to deal with them in a matter to make them develop a good character.
Excellent.
And I have some programs we call character education programs, and I think again, if you find some time, something again we can discuss.
Yes,
character education, which I also do with my husband, who is a bishop. So character education comes in very important.
Okay.
And let me mention briefly about character education.
Okay.
We found that we have very bright minds in schools. These bright minds, they become so innovative when now they become grown-ups, the scientists in their area. So because of not having good character, they come up with innovations which are dangerous.
Ah, okay.
You see, like this HIV just was made in a laboratory, and those scientists, they knew that this one is a bad thing,
and they still did it.
They want to see even this coronavirus. No, there are scientists with bad character. So, but we we realize that if we mold character such that these young people come up and grow up into grown-ups who have good refined character with the good values, you'll not find them coming with the innovations that are dangerous.
That's excellent. That is
so that's coming under character education.
Character education,
yes.
Yeah. I like that. And it's so important. So viewer, thank you so much for joining us. Remember that we're on social media. We're on GBS TV Africa on YouTube, on Facebook, where we're going to be streaming this live. So please, if you have any questions, send us and we'll be able to get back to you. Thank you so much for coming, Mrs. Reverend Florence. And it's been so great to have you on board, especially about the character education. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.